Alright, full-time executive gaming back, and today I'm going to be teaching you about 3 more build hacks. The first one is going to be daylight sensor floor tiles. The second one is going to be about how to make a glowstone lamp. The third one is going to be how to make a wind charge powered TNT cannon. And of course, the fourth one in the ender chest. You have to wait till the end of the video to find that out. But anyway, let's get into this. The first thing is going to be daylight sensor floor tiles. Now, basically, I'd pick 25. It could be any amount. I just like 25 because I like it. It's like a good ratio of daylight sensors and like the opposite night lights sensor setting. You'll see what I mean. But basically, you're just gonna make however big your floor is gonna be. So mine's gonna be a 5x5. Alright guys, I'm done with that, and now the thing is, what you want to do is basically, you're going to want to make you could kind of play around with this, but basically what happens is when you click on the daylight sensor, it turns to the night light sensor mode, and the thing is, you could do a lot of things with this. You can, click on every other daylight sensor to kind of make like this, checkered pattern kind of, and yeah, there we go. I'm definitely missing some. Definitely missing some. But there you go. You can make like a checkered pattern like this. And you can see, maybe I get a little bit higher. That's probably a good idea, just to get a little bit higher to show you like even more, what it looks like from above. But like it looks like this, and it looks pretty cool. Or you could really do any kind of design with this that you wanted. That's just one that comes to mind, but you could do anything with it. It's very cool, and something that is, you could definitely do different variations of that. But I'm gonna move on to the second one. Alright guys, I'm back, and the second one is basically how you make a glowstone lamp. Now, this also includes an armor stand for the base of the lamp, and then a piston and a lever and a few planks to basically put the piston. Basically, the planks are just, they're just it's just like any block. And I mean, you could use any temporary block. It's just, to place the piston on, basically. But basically, what you're gonna do is basically, you're gonna place the armor stand down first. You want to place that first, and then basically, I mean, you could put it in front of it, but I just think, I don't know, for me, I like to put it behind it. I mean, you could put it in front of it. Oh, actually, guys, you're actually going to need 4 temporary blocks, basically. Oh, well, I need to get up there again. Oh my god, I keep forgetting. I thought it was like 3, and then I remembered. Oh yeah, I need 4. So yeah, gonna have to build up 4. Okay, there we go. Now, basically, what you're gonna want to do. You're going to want to place the glowstone a block on your temporary blocks. It's going to be a block above your armor stand. You're going to place that against the temporary block. Then you're going to go basically like you're going to go right directly beside the glowstone, and then you're going to basically place the piston. And so if you're like really close to it, the piston should face downwards. Put a lever, flick it, and then you're basically going to remove the piston. Also, a big disclaimer is that piston will have to be a normal piston. It cannot be a sticky piston. Otherwise, of course, that glowstone is going to retract, and then, it's not, you're not going to get the result you wanted because it's just, they're separated again. So it has to be a normal piston. But then you break all your temporary blocks, and of course the lever, and you got to break that too. But when you break the piston, the lever breaks. But anyways, then it looks like this, and especially at night, you can see that, it looks cool, especially the armor stand. You can see in the daytime, the armor stand or the base of the lamp kind of can look, a little bit dark, or like a shadow is casting on it, but at night, you can see that the lamp is actually lighting up the base of the lamp. You can actually see that the top of the lamp is actually lighting up the base of the lamp, and it looks really cool. And it even looks more realistic. But anyways, let's move on to the next hack. Alright guys, I'm back, and the next hack is basically going to be how to use, TNT cannons back in the day before the 1.21 update. Even though the 1.21 update came out, like 7-ish months ago, The thing is, still, it's pretty new, thinking of, I mean, considering, how old Minecraft is, but, it used to be you had to set up this whole thing with a bunch of dispensers with TNT, you had to place a fence in front. It was a whole thing, and if you didn't get it exactly right, and, would explode, especially if it didn't have water in the right spot. It's going to explode, and the water's, if there's no water, of course, it's just going to explode the whole thing, and then it was so complicated. But now I found a way that is so simple, yet so effective, and it can be used as a TNT cannon, and in fact, it's, even though it's one of the harder things to get, because, it's definitely one of the harder ones to get, the wind charges, you have to go to trial chambers, you have to kill breezes, that spawns a whole thing. But the thing is, it's pretty simple, it's really simple setting up once you get those complex items. So basically, you're going to need any amount of wind charges, preferably a lot, like a stack, because if you want to use a TNT cannon, you probably want to use a lot of, wind charges and a lot of TNT and a lot of that to, because you don't want to run out, because if you run out, then, all the players on the other side are basically going to survive, because you're 1 or 2 TNT is probably not going to do it. But basically, you'll need, a lot of TNT, a lot of wind charges, 1 flint and steel, and 1 piece of netherrack. Now, so basically, I'm going to go a little bit farther away, like I did in my previous video when I was setting up the trap. That was like a landmine, so I'm going to go far away, because, this is going to be pretty explosive, and I'm going to go, pretty far away, and I'm actually going to aim it towards where my builds are not, because I do not want to explode any of them, because this TNT can go pretty far. But basically, all it is basically dig down 1 block, place the netherrack. You're going to, basically, all you have to do is now light that netherrack, and then what you're going to have to do, this is pretty much most of it. believe it or not, I mean, this is pretty much most of it. But anyways, you're going to place that TNT, basically anywhere. Now, why I say anywhere and not the direction you want to aim it is because if you hit it with a wind charge in a certain way, you can actually make it go backwards. But I'm not going to show you that, because I don't want to explode any of my, previous build hacks that I want there. Just, just cool to see, in the background and whatnot. But the thing is, so yeah, you can actually do trick shots where you throw the wind charge and it actually goes backwards, which, of course, TNT cannons back in the day, they used to just, shoot in one direction. But now you can actually aim it in different directions without having to change the whole, without having to change anything or add anything like in the old days. TNT cannons, you used to have to break the whole thing, replace it in a new direction. This is very simple. So basically, if you place the TNT next to the fire, so it has to be directly next to the fire. It has to be the block touching that fire. And basically, it will actually ignite it, no matter if it's, even if it's around, even though, in the previous videos, I've taught you how lighting the top of the TNT will, make it delayed. You can actually do a delayed TNT here. Basically, that's how it works to use delayed TNT mechanics with the fire, but I mean, even if it's directly next to it on the sides, it will still work like that. So basically, and then you're just gonna, there you go. And then you saw I used a wind charge, and look how far I launched it. I launched it really far. And look at that. Like, see how the destruction is bigger? That's because it was in the air. And the fact that it was in the air, it wasn't on the ground. It could only blow up that. It could blow up anything in the air, too. So it makes the TNT actually explode more. Because usually, look at the difference, okay? This is what that TNT did versus what a normal TNT does. A normal TNT, you light it on the ground, it only explodes those things on the ground. So a normal TNT does about that. Yeah, it does about that big of an explosion. Now, this TNT, when you basically through the wind charges, and basically if it's in the air, it does something more like that. So it's a big, big difference. Anyways, yeah, so it's really cool. You don't want to do more than one TNT at a time, because sometimes that can backfire, and then one TNT gets pushed towards your fire, and it can just explode it. So you don't want to do that, because that can backfire, but you can basically put it in basically any side around the fire, and, you know, it will basically do it. This is the moment you have all been waiting for. You've all been waiting for me to open the Ender chest. So this whole video, you've been waiting, and I think it's about time to open it. So here we go. So basically, you know, this is surprising for something so cool that it deserves a spot in the Ender chest. The fact that there's only 3 items is absurd, right? I mean, and it's only one of each item. But I'm going to show you. I know it involves end crystals again, but I'm telling you, it's purely just aesthetic. It's not being exploded or anything. Anyways. Basically, you're going to take 1 end crystal, 1 obsidian, and 1 crafting table. Basically, now, there's one thing that you do need in this. I didn't think about this, but there's one more thing you do need. So, I wasn't sure how to represent this, because that's why I didn't add it originally. But you can basically mine it with either a diamond pickaxe or a netherite pickaxe, but anything below a diamond pickaxe, you know, iron, stone, or wooden, it won't mine obsidian, so you need diamond or netherite pickaxe to mine the obsidian itself, and I'll show you why you need to mine the obsidian. But anyways, basically this is how it goes. You have to be very careful not to touch basically anywhere in the vicinity of the end crystal, because it will explode. And in fact, I'm doing it away from my build hacks just in case I mess it up. So you should probably do it away from anything valuable too, just in case you mess it up. But basically, you need to place 1 obsidian down, you need to place an end crystal on top, then basically you have to carefully mine this obsidian, make sure you don't click the end crystal at all, and then basically, once you mine that obsidian, you'll be surprised to meet this floating end crystal, because an end crystal doesn't need anything below it to, you know, for it to just not, you know, explode or anything or break. It stays the same. Then basically all you have to do is put an enchantment table under the end crystal, and basically what happens, you gotta be very careful with this, because if you touch like a little bit higher, like right up here, it's going to explode. If it's lower and you preferably want to place the enchantment table under basically right when it's a little bit higher, like floating higher, so that you don't accidentally touch in its hitbox. Because, you know, you can see that, you know, its hitbox is moving up and down, and when it's moving up, it's hard to click. But basically, if you're very, very careful, there we go. I was afraid I was going to actually explode it. I was very afraid that I was going to accidentally touch it and it was going to explode. But luckily, I'm very delicate and very careful with this. So basically, it worked. But basically, now I have an enchantment table, basically an end crystal above the enchantment table, or an enchantment table below the end crystal, whatever you prefer, say. But anyways, this kind of is cool because you know, when you go in an enchantment table, it has the same, you know, kind of cryptic text that an end crystal has, so it kind of almost looks like the end crystal is like coming out of the enchantment table almost. And since there are 2 similar blocks with similar text types, it really looks kind of interesting, and kind of it really looks even more magical. I mean, this could make your enchantment table look even more magical than it already does. And the truth is, it functions. So, I mean, you can use this enchantment table even when you have the end crystal above it. Just make sure that, you know, you don't accidentally click the end crystal, because that, you know, and then you'd explode it. But anyways, please like, subscribe, and share this channel with your friends. Until then, goodbye.